So today we'll talk about what is the extracellular matrix and what does that have to do with anatomy, right? So if we're thinking about a cell, right? So I've got my cell. Always got to draw your nucleus when you draw your cell, unless it's bacteria. And in your cell, right, a lot of times we think about just what's inside the cell, but there's a lot outside of our cells, and what's outside of our cells is really essential for their functioning, the body's functioning. And so everything outside of the cell, right, is going to be that extracellular matrix. Okay. And in the extracellular matrix, there's going to be different things depending on the cells that are found in that area. So we can think about the cells that are in that area, the um, the what's provided to the area, and any like outside um, damage or sources, right? And we won't worry too much about the outside stuff today, right? But your cells are going to influence what is in that extracellular matrix, okay? So our matrix in anatomy, we usually think about the kind of two main components being the proteins, okay? And the second thing being the fluids, right? And in between all of our cells, sorry if I've got all these cells, and assume that they have a little bit more diversity to them, they are going to send different sources, different things out into the tissue that will influence how they function, right? So we'll have different special proteins, and we're going to change the composition of the fluid depending on what's needed. So different ions can change. Sometimes different macromolecules can be out there. And this is going to really deeply impact what happens at the cellular level, right? So we're thinking about, okay, we have, let's say we have a specific cell, and it needs to be able to interact with another part of the tissue, right? And at the bottom of this cell, we'll find lots of proteins that are in the extracellular matrix that the cell can attach to. Okay? And then on the other side, you could have other cells who also could be interacting with that extracellular matrix, but in their own way, right? So these two components, that protein and that fluid, are going to play a very large role in how tissues function